Hey everyone, Econdio here. Welcome back to The Explainer. So, today we're diving into something messy, something visceral, the modern mechanics of dealing with infidelity. Because let's face it, in the digital age, a broken heart, it doesn't just stay behind closed doors anymore. It spills right out onto our timelines. We're going to look at real-world examples and break down a massive ethical dilemma, the raw urge for public revenge versus the quiet maturity of simply walking away.
I want you to pause for a second and really put yourself in this headspace. What would you actually do if you caught your partner cheating? It's the ultimate nightmare scenario, right? The kind of thing that makes your blood boil just thinking about it. Your heart is pounding out of your chest, your mind is racing a million miles an hour. Do you scream? Do you cry? Do you pack your bags and just leave? Or do you pull out your smartphone? This is exactly the emotional and ethical dilemma we're unpacking today. And honestly, the answers we found in the source material might totally surprise you.
All right, let's get into Section 1, the ultimate betrayal, Dustin's discovery.
Meet Dustin Holloway. He's a 23-year-old construction superintendent in Texas. He comes home one day expecting a totally normal afternoon, only to find his girlfriend fast asleep right next to another guy. Now, let's break down his thought process in real time here because it's wildly relatable. At 0 seconds, his literal first instinct is purely physical. He seriously considered fighting the guy right there in his bed, which, completely understandable. But then, at the 1-minute mark, his brain takes a sharp turn into sarcasm. He actually considers waking her up even though she's dead asleep, just to ask what kind of breakfast the new guy likes. Or hey, maybe Dustin should just go sleep in the spare bedroom. But by minute 2, Dustin makes a fateful and ultimately viral decision. He whips out his phone and he starts snapping selfies with the oblivious sleeping couple right behind him.
And he didn't just save these for his personal camera roll. Oh no, he posted a whole string of these selfies straight to Facebook with his incredibly spicy caption. He wrote, "When you come home to another man in your bed with the one you loved, good men deserve good women." Boom, he hits post. And without one single click, Dustin took what was an intensely private, agonizing moment of betrayal and literally threw it straight into the court of public opinion.
Which brings us to Section 2, a global phenomenon, the viral revenge method.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, Dustin's reaction was just this bizarre one-off thing. But it's actually not. The smartphone has fundamentally changed the global landscape of breakups. While Dustin was taking bed selfies in Texas, thousands of miles away in Buenos Aires, Argentina, a 22-year-old named Mariano found himself in almost the exact same nightmare. Mariano goes to a party solo one night, and he spots a girl making out with some guy. It takes a second to register, but then it hits him. That's his girlfriend. So what does he do? He doesn't cause a massive scene. He literally takes the exact same digital approach as Dustin. He grabs his phone, gets right in frame, and snaps a party selfie with his girlfriend kissing the other guy right there in the background.
Mariano then uploads this masterpiece to Twitter with an incredibly dry, hilarious caption. He says, "My girlfriend, now ex, didn't realize we came to the same party." And guys, this tweet absolutely exploded online. It spread like wildfire. In fact, it got so huge that Mariano's girlfriend actually found out she'd been dumped because she saw the viral tweet herself. In this case, the digital exposure literally became the confrontation.
So let's look at Section 3, the ethical debate, public justice versus maturity.
How do we even judge this new kind of digital revenge? The public reactions to these viral moments were massively polarized, and honestly, they tell us a lot about our modern values. In the first camp, you had thousands of people praising Dustin for his restraint. One commenter basically validated his whole strategy, saying, "Acted like the bigger person. I'm sure one day you'll find someone who will think the world of you." People were actively cheering on this public exposure. By choosing a camera lens over his fists, thousands of strangers on the internet decided Dustin showed incredible physical restraint, and they viewed his digital revenge as a highly mature response.
But hold on a second, because the source material shows a really stark contrast here. Not everyone was on board. Another person jumped into that Facebook thread with a completely different take, writing, "Taking pictures and blasting them on the web does not make you a better man. Calmly walking away and just accepting what happened and not seeking revenge makes you a better man." This commenter is making a heavy point. True maturity doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need likes or shares or viral validation. It just requires walking away quietly. And it really brings up this massive implicit question about the privacy and ethical implications of just blasting photos of unaware people all over the internet.
So we are looking at two totally opposite instincts for handling the exact same type of trauma. On one hand, you have Dustin's loud, public response, actively seeking that viral exposure. On the other hand, another woman in Dustin's comments section shared her own devastating story. She wrote, I caught my husband with another woman. I went downstairs to the kitchen and made a cup of tea. Just sit with that for a second. Think about the absolute quiet dignity of making a cup of tea while your entire world shatters right upstairs, compared to broadcasting that betrayal to thousands of people around the globe.
Moving on to Section 4, the validation paradox, emotional aftermath.
So what actually happens after the viral storm passes? If we shift our focus to the psychological impact of all this, let's trace Dustin's emotional journey step by step. He logged back onto Facebook later and explicitly said that at first, his world totally fell apart. He was utterly heartbroken by what he saw. But then, the global validation started pouring in. He wrote that receiving thousands of messages from people all over the world, congratulating him on walking away, acted as this rapid emotional salve. It propelled him forward. It helped him find his pride, keep his respect, and ultimately realize he could move on.
Yet, despite all that global applause, Dustin actually came to a pretty surprising realization later on. He said, there's no need in bashing someone when they're down. He admitted that the whole viral aftermath wasn't actually what he wanted. He explicitly stated, I don't care to be known all over. He fully recognized that what his ex did was wrong, absolutely, but he concluded that being the better person is always the best way. He didn't want to just endlessly punish her. For him, the best feeling wasn't the sweet taste of revenge, but realizing that his own worth wasn't tied to someone who took him for granted.
Which leaves us with this massive question. Does social media validation actually heal a broken heart, or does it just temporarily mask the pain? We've seen how guys like Dustin and Mariano use digital exposure to completely flip the script on their partners. We've seen the public cheer them on as heroes, and we've seen others advocate for the quiet dignity of a cup of tea. But at the end of the day, when the phone screen goes dark, the heartbreak is still sitting right there. So I want you to take this thought with you today. Is digital validation a healthy cure for modern betrayal, or is it just a dangerous crutch that keeps us from doing the real work of healing? I'm Ekandayo. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking those big questions.